How are you?
Fine. I haven't seen you in a long time. I mean, except for last night, but I mean, it's been...
These Johnny interviews were so hilariously funny. They became legendary moments that audiences still watch decades later. Well, the other night in front of my house, I saw a guy jogging naked. I said to him, "How come?" He said, "'Cause you came home early." These are the most funny interviews on Johnny Carson. Rodney Dangerfield makes Johnny cry laughing Johnny cry laughing. Drinking. That's my big problem. Oh, I'm a bad, oh yeah. I tell you, the other night in Vegas, I got loaded Johnny. I shot dice. I lost $1,000. I got even though I stole 400 sweet and lows. You know, laughter. I'm a bad drinker. A bad drinker Johnny. I mean, when I drink, I don't know what I'm doing. The next day, I usually wake up in some strange place with a kid with an accent playing with my feet. Laughter, what happened to you too? Yeah. I saw my dentist too last week. Another beauty. I said to him, "Doc, look at my teeth. They're all getting yellow." He told me to wear a brown necktie. Rodney machine guns one-liners so fast Carson can't reset between laughs and drops the drive-in push-ups bit. My friends didn't know though. I fooled them. You know, I used to go to drive-in movies alone and do push-ups in the back seat of my car. Johnny later told his staff, "Rodney's jokes are so good, I genuinely almost slid out of my chair." Carol Burnett and Tim Conway, the sketch partners. Yeah, you haven't seen each other, I suppose, since the show went off. No. Gee, I was sorry to see it go off. Yeah, that laughter. It's an easy show to work, this new one. Now, you work 4 weeks, and you're off 48, which gives me a lot of time to do whatever I want. Laughter. Carol and Tim sit down with the energy of a sketch already in progress, turning every question into a new bit. I had my car, and Saint were there there were other people. A whole room full of people. I pulled up, and a guy in a red jacket said, "Can I take your car?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Do I need a ticket?" And he said, "No, I don't think so." And that's the last I saw him or laughter my car. That's true. Carson reportedly said Tim forces Carol into helpless laughter by committing to ridiculous ideas longer than anyone Frank Sinatra gets pranked by Don Rickles expects. Don Rickles, the Sinatra kisser. That's true. And that's why I just want to say, before we go any further, for 14 years, Johnny Carson kept saying, "Do you really know Frank?" And I want you to know, Frank, I worship you and I love you. I really mean that because since I'm a kid, I used to blow in girls' ears, and here you going and do it my way. I need a girl, so bad. Laughter. Rickles openly roasts Sinatra while Frank sits right there, then kisses him like nothing happened. I love you. Applause, Johnny told his producers. Rickles' nerve is the punchline he keeps escalating while I watch it spiral. Ronald Reagan's appearance. Ronald Reagan, the presidential jokester. There's very little that government can do as efficiently and as economically as the people can do themselves. And if government would shut the doors and sneak away for about 3 weeks, we'd never miss them. Now, if the people you had in mind, particularly Reagan, leans into late-night rhythm, letting Johnny steer him into light, self-aware humor. They found out clears throat that people that earn more are happier than people that earn less. Laughter. And they found out that, well, people are happier than 6 people. That's good. $249,000 to find out it's better to be rich, young, and healthy than old, poor, and sick. Laughter. Applause. Carson joked to friends. Reagan plays along, giving the audience the rare music real person vibe instead of stiff political interview. Dean Martin. Johnny takes a sip of Dean Martin's Drink the Drink Share. Boy, this is it, huh? This is it. Laughter. It's Wednesday, Dean. Yeah. Dean's relaxed, drunk energy turns the segment into a party as Johnny takes a sip from his drink. No. I used to be on every Thursday. That's right. That's what I'm talking about. And I watched you, but I could never find out what night you went on. Laughter. Applause. Johnny reportedly said, Dean makes me feel like we're friends getting into trouble on live TV. Robin Williams. The Robin Williams appearance nonstop character machine. I'm okay now. I'm out here. Mama, I'm on TV for my friends in San Francisco. How are you? Laughter. Robin doesn't answer questions. He detonates nonstop. Characters, voices, and physical bits that take over the entire segment. No, really. Because they come to your door going, hello, here's your watchtower. Laughter. And I like to say hello to you. Har Krishna. Har Lama. But I don't want the book. Take the book. It's free. Laughter. Take the wig off. Please. No. Har Krishna. Carson told his staff, my role became survival. Robin's show temporarily became his playground. Merritt Heaton, the Illinois farmer. Somebody told me when we first invited you to the show, you didn't want to come on. No. Really? No. Why not? Well, I'm scared to death. Well, you shouldn't be. Merritt sits down like he's done TV for 40 years music and starts casually stealing the spotlight with plain spoken lines. What made you change your mind to come on the show? Well, I tell you, a lot of my friends know Johnny Carson. They said if I had a chance to get on Johnny Carson show, I'd be on. So I reconsidered. Maybe they had good judgment. Well, good. I hope so. Yeah. Johnny joked to producers. The regular guest ended up running the segment, out-charming me completely. Music Jimmy Stewart jokes with Carson Stewart, the gentle storyteller. I was asking the audience, or did you give that up? I forgot. Stewart's delivery makes everything funnier with his gentle, halting rhythm, turning music, simple stories into slow, building laughs. Did you ever use to make resolutions? Yeah. Like what? Smoking cigarettes. You quit that. Yeah. And I talk faster. Johnny gives him space, and Stewart pivots into something unexpectedly amusing. Carson leans in like he's listening to a heartfelt tale. The best moments are when the warmth first comedy feels soft, human, and totally disarming. Are they happy to be coming back to California and leaving Washington, or did he mention it? He didn't say anything about it. Didn't say anything at all. Huh? No. I didn't ask him. Yeah. Didn't he introduce you at some affair in Washington once with a wrong rank? Stewart never tries to be a comedian, which makes him funnier. Johnny later told friends Stewart's charm was effortless and completely genuine. The audience loved watching Carson react to Stewart's innocent humor. Stewart's halting speech pattern became part of Don Rickles' roasts everyone, the comedy itself. Don Rickles, the controlled riot. Oh, he was a sweet man. He went back. He said, Don. I kicked him in the leg, and he went away. He's a sweet man. Don't you just hope we get to be that age? Yeah. Well, no, I'm not. Well, you will because you have nothing on your mind. Rickles hits the couch like a human tornado, insulting everyone within reach while smiling like it's a love language. Freddie doesn't laugh anymore since he knows the president-elect. That's right. He's just sits there going, I'm going to get rid of him and sit in the White House. All right, Mr. President, pass the beer. How you feel, Ed? Spoke to Johnny. Hey, he's getting rid of you. Anyway, Johnny tries to steer the interview, but Rickles keeps interrupting with new shots. Johnny pretends to be offended, giving Rickles permission to go even harder. The interview becomes a controlled riot that only Rickles could pull off. When a friend, as Sammy is to all of us, it's so tough because you got to sit there for hours and hours. Mayor Bradley was up there making a speech, and Al Hamra was on fire. Oh, Carson told the staff, the audience sees the insults coming music but can't resist laughing. Rickles made every guest and crew member a target. Johnny's fake offense became part of the recurring bit. The studio loved watching Carson get destroyed by his favorite guest, Betty White, the polite assassin. Betty White teases Johnny fine. I haven't seen you in a long time. Except for last night, but it's Betty's timing is the weapon, as she smiles sweetly, then drops a perfectly placed line that flips Johnny into the straight man. The water thing. Well, there are certain people you feel have an affinity for. That's nice. Old broads are the best. Don't laughter, you think? No, I didn't say that. Applause. She recounts Johnny's jokes about her, then builds on them, making them bigger. Betty's not defensive about being teased. She calmly wins by sounding effortlessly polite while being brutally funny. Johnny keeps poking and Betty keeps stopping him. Carson told his producers, Betty makes nice feel dangerous. She uses her sweet image as comedy armor. Johnny's teasing backfires when Betty turns it around. The audience loved watching her politely destroy Carson. Music: Tim Conway. The Tim Conway's character bit Lyle Dorff creator. That night, I felt what the heck. It was a lot better in there than going out and eating with Harvey. But laughter. That was a weird night. The man actually said, "Are you here for the picture?" And I said, "Yes." And he put me right in the projection room. And you sat there. Yeah. Well, I didn't know whether that's where you wanted me or not. So I got to figure. Conway commits to Lyle Dorff like it's a real person. Music. Using the character's seriousness to make everything ridiculous. Johnny tries to keep a normal music interview tone, but the character's confidence and odd details derail it completely. We have an anniversary show coming up. We're starting our 16th year. MHM. You have never been on this show. That's true. And I know we have asked you before. Well, I didn't know you did this, Laughter. Tim stays in character, never winking, forcing Johnny to react honestly to the absurdity. The couch turns into a full sketch without ever starting a sketch. Carson laughs because Conway's commitment makes the bit work. Lyle Dorff's tiny stature becomes the running visual gag. Johnny plays along, asking serious questions to a ridiculous character. It's dynamite. Really? Hey, congratulations. For what? Oh, I thought you knew something about my private life. No. Laughter. The audience howls as Conway maintains perfect deadpan delivery. Carson told his staff Conway's characters were so committed they felt real. Dwarf's exaggerated proportions made every movement funny. Music. Johnny struggled to keep composure during Dwarf segments. Conway's willingness to look ridiculous elevated the comedy. The character became so popular it launched Conway's standalone career. Carson gave Conway freedom knowing he'd deliver genius. Dwarf proved physical comedy still worked on talk shows. The jockey outfit was so perfectly constructed it sold the illusion. Johnny's reactions were genuine, not rehearsed, making it funnier. Conway never broke character, even during commercial breaks. The segment showed how sketch comedy could invade talk shows. Carson later called Dwarf one of his music favorite recurring bits. Conway's genius was making the absurd feel completely Richard Pryor and Chevy Chase roast each other natural. Richard Pryor and Chevy Chase, the speed jabbers. Thank you, Chevy. Richard Ed clears throat Pryor and Chevy fire lines back and forth so fast Johnny can barely referee the verbal tennis match. Each jab raises the stakes because neither wants to lose the room for even a second. We're up against the arteries, so who cares, Did you have any having Chinese and Indian on the other stations? Laughter. Chinese. Chinese and Indians. Yes, this is a white-black network, and they're moving over in China, and they have pilgrims and midgets on one to balance. Johnny's reactions become part of the joke, like he's watching a competition he can't stop. The banter feels genuinely competitive, not scripted, making the energy electric. Carson told his staff the speed between them was impossible to replicate. Pryor's wit met Chevy's confidence, creating perfect comedy chemistry. Johnny tried interjecting, but they talked over him. I'm still on parole. I didn't know that. You just laughter just out for the show. Huh? So, you were married and then divorced you in California. Yes. Yes, that is right. The audience loved watching two comedy titans music battle. Carson eventually gave up hosting and just enjoyed the show. Pryor's edge balanced Chevy's smugness perfectly. Music, each tried topping the other's punchline immediately. Johnny laughed harder than the audience at their exchange. The segment proved Carson could step back when guests delivered. Pryor and Chevy's friendship showed through the competition. Carson later said, watching them was like witnessing comedy history. The jabs never music felt mean, just playfully aggressive. Johnny's hosting became secondary to their dynamic. The speed never slowed, making every second count. Carson told producers this was talk show gold. Pryor's timing matched Chevy's, perfectly creating rhythm. The segment became a blueprint for guest chemistry. Mildred Holt destroys Johnny Hole, the 105-year-old comedian. You don't look, oh come on. I don't know what somebody 105 is supposed to look like. You look better than I saw you then. Yeah. I mean applause, the 105-year-old Mildred wins instantly because she's fearless with her age becoming the setup, and her sharp answers the punchline. Well, I hear you've had what, 3 for wives. Well, that's great. Really good for you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's Johnny approaches carefully, then realizes she's funnier than the premise of the segment itself. Her blunt, confident humor flips Johnny into the reacting role. She answers like she has nothing to prove, which makes every line land harder. Do you have brothers and sisters? They were 6 girls and 3 boys. Yeah. I was the youngest girl. You were. They've all died years ago. Yeah. I outlived them all. I'm too mean to die. Well, you're too mean to die. Applause, Carson told his staff. The sweet guest turned into a comedic assassin. Music, Mildred's delivery was so dry, it caught Johnny off guard. She controlled the conversation despite being the oldest guest ever. Johnny's questions became setups for her punchlines. The audience loved watching Carson get dominated by a centenarian. Mildred's timing proved age doesn't diminish comedy instincts. She topped every one of Johnny's attempts at humor. Carson laughed genuinely because her wit was unexpected. Mildred became an instant Tonight Show legend. Her confidence made Johnny seem like the nervous one. Carson told friends Mildred was sharper than most comedians. The segment proved ordinary people could steal the show. Mildred never pandered. She just spoke her truth. Johnny's respect for her was visible throughout. The age gap created perfect comedic contrast. Music, Carson later called it one of his favorite surprise segments. Mildred's fearlessness came from living over a century. She treated Carson like an equal, not a celebrity. The interview became about her controlling the narrative. Carson surrendered the spotlight knowing she earned it. Mildred proved comedy doesn't require youth, just confidence. Betty White and Joan Rivers roast each other Rivers. The insult duel. Betty. Oh, well, I would like to say you look lovely, but unfortunately, laughter. The segment is basically a duel with Betty sounding angelic, while Joan throws sharper punches, music, and laughs at her own audacity. People have to see that you stop by the Arco station. Laughter. It's not often they let you in there without a car. You were there in the restroom, but I didn't. Laughter. Oh. But I finished my writing on the walls, and Johnny benefits because he barely has to do anything. Just sets them up and watches them go. One escalates, and the other tops it instantly, creating a friendly insult contest. It's 2 comedy machines using totally different styles on the same couch. Carson told his staff watching them was effortless hosting. Betty's sweetness contrasted Joan's aggression perfectly. Johnny tried steering, but they ignored him. The audience loved watching 2 comedy queens compete. Joan's sharp wit met Betty's polite brutality. Carson laughed because both women were unstoppable. Betty landed insults disguised as compliments. Joan went direct, making every shot count. The contrast in their approaches made it funnier. Carson later said he could have left, and they'd continue. Both women respected each other, making the roasting acceptable. Johnny's role became audience surrogate, just enjoying. The segment, Music, proved female comedians could dominate Carson's couch. Betty and Joan's friendship showed through the competition. Carson told producers this was comedy perfection. Each tried outdoing the other's last line. The pace never slowed as they traded shots. Johnny appreciated not having to work music during segments. The chemistry between them was instant and electric. Carson later called it one of his favorite female comedian pairings.